down. There it is.
Yes.
He's fresh out of the big meeting.
Yeah, we know that he was
chatting
just
with the
badgering the
commissioner.
commission like crazy back there.
I was wondering if the commissioner comes with like a bodyguard or something like that to deal with you guys. But
And it was really Cal that started the whole thing.
Is that true?
Well, think about
Oh,
it.
because
Nobody
of
had seen the picture.
because he was nude
And then
in
all of a
public.
sudden he's wearing these, the nude pantyhose pants.
Oh, geez.
I know
Yeah.
you guys aren't allowed to really talk about the whole thing, but can I just ask you this about it, about the uniforms?
Why are they not allowed to talk about it?
How many of your buddies texted you to make fun of you?
A lot. Too many.
How many of them suggested that you were nude in public?
I got like there's like a meme of like a Simpson guy, and like he was like staring through a foggy window. They're saying like, things are trying to get out, and I'm like, that's not what we want.
I mean,
That's not what we
did
want.
you know when you put them on? Like, oh.
Well, I didn't see it. Well, they mentioned to me, I had like we did this like commercial thing, and Ben, our photographer, mentioned, he's like, yeah, you can kind of see through the pants. And I didn't think anything of it. And then, once I saw that video, I'm like, oh my God, I mean, you see everything. And luckily mine wasn't even the worst one. The poor guy in the Giants, I mean, you literally saw everything.
Saw everything. Yeah.
That was not
And then
good.
your teammate here, Michael Chavis, poor guy. They gave him the screwy jersey.
Yeah, look at Mitch Garver's.
Oh, is his a mess too?
Take a look at his,
I
too.
haven't seen his yet.
It's not good.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was so sarcastic with us this morning. He's a funny dude, huh?
Yeah, he's great.
He's got a little sense of humor to him. Very dry.
I know. I like him a lot. He's been great.
That's pretty cool. Well, it's good to have you here. What were you guys meeting with? Can you tell us about the meeting with the commissioner?
Oh yeah, he's making his rounds, all 30 teams. Probably meeting with 2-3 teams a day. Just going over basically the State of the Union. Where the game is at, where they see things. Obviously, the RSN network issues. Other issues. The new rules, keeping the rules. Things like that. Basically, just where the game's at, talking about it, bringing up issues. Players can, get in front and actually talk to him, face to face. Any kind of things that are kind of lingering concerns players have. Obviously, the jerseys were definitely brought up in that meeting. So,
What did you get an answer on the jerseys, or just we know?
They're going to try to address them. It is the big leagues, and it is a big corporation in Nike. So, I think we have faith that they'll fix the issue. So
Let's talk some baseball, because obviously that's what we're here for. And it dawned on me a couple of weeks ago as we were getting down here that we've had so many conversations around some of the new guys here, some of the margins, but we haven't talked nearly enough about the guys that are really the core, the nucleus, and that starts pitching-wise, I would think, with the big cheese, with Luis Castillo. Mm-hmm. Are we sleeping on Luis and how good he could be this year?
I mean, I don't know many people sleeping on him. I don't think so. I think we all know how
you guys aren't.
How unbelievable.
We might be.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's great. He's already come into camp, a little more ready per se than he was last year. Not that he didn't have a great year, because he did. He was an all-star. So, but he's coming in already looks like classic Luis, and we're really excited. Not about him, but the rest of the staff, and he's obviously kind of the guy that gets things rolling, being the number one, being the opening day starter, and he's what makes the engine go. So
This is Major League Camp for you. What number?
2019 was my first year, so 2021. Mm-hmm. That's 6?
And 20's kind of goofy, right, with COVID and all of that.
Yeah, it's like a
stuff.
half a camp, so 5.5, I guess.
Can you quantify just personally, individually, how much different it is now with that experience under your belt than when you were in your first couple camps?
It's a complete 180. Camp is completely different now, and like for the better, for sure. My first camp, I got to come in and I was the guy catching every single bullpen. I was, taking every single rep, doing as much as I possibly could to try to impress and try to, get reps
build trust.
in. And, I mean, you're hungry. You want people to see. You want people to notice you in good ways, mm-hmm. and those are kind of things that you want to do. And now it's coming in, and now that's it's pretty cut and dry what I need to do as far as get my body ready. I need to be ready by this date, because I know I'm starting opening day. I'm the catcher. I'm coming in, getting myself ready, getting my body ready, getting my swing ready, making sure my legs are underneath me, and then I'm ready to go for game one.
I think Shannon told me you'd like spring training to be a little longer. Is that right, with longer days?
I don't know about that.
No, not longer?
I don't know about longer, but, you know, you make your days and you make sure to you do, unfortunately, you know, it is you need to make some long days, you need to make some shorter days, but you need to make sure that you're ready. And sometimes it's being out here a little longer than maybe you want to, but, you know, it's good for you for the rest of the season.
What do the pitchers do all day?
They don't do anything. The other day, it was like we got out of our meeting, and Bryce Miller had 2.5 hours until he threw his bullpen. I'm like, what are you going to do for 2.5 hours? And he just, you know, he says moseying around. I'm like, yeah, you are moseying around. You're not doing anything.
So obviously that's hysterical, but also we watched him throw his bullpen that day, and I counted 20 people around. Yeah. Now, some of them were just standing around because, as you said, they don't really have anything to do. But in talking to other guys, it doesn't sound like that's that typical around the league for that many people. And George was out there, and Logan was out there, and Brian was out there, and you know, half the team was out there just watching him throw. How valuable are those moments of the guys getting together?
Yeah, you know, it's tough when you get into, you know, in pro ball and you're in, obviously, the big leagues, you know, people are in such, you know, strict, you know, routines or schedules, and they're always doing things to get better, whether it's training room, throwing, running, you know, lifting, vice versa, whatever it is. So guys are always on their schedule, and everybody's different every day. You know, somebody's throwing live, somebody's not, somebody's down. And so it's kind of the one time where everybody can kind of be together and kind of, you know, build that camaraderie and kind of have those conversations, you know, even if it is a, you know, 5-minute conversation after the bullpen where all of our starters are together. That might be the only time that they're together all day. So, you know, it's always good when you can get guys around and, you know, you can talk shop, or maybe one guy says one thing that clicks for another guy, or maybe somebody says something that is going to, you know, help them later on down the road. So,
did Veritek, we talked Veritek last year,
We
right?
did, yeah.
Did he have a C on his jersey back in the day?
Yeah, he earned one.
Do they still do that?
Not all teams. Some teams do.
Does this team do that? Is that something that you strive for? Is that in any way, like, not C for Cal, like Laverne and Shirley, but a C for captain?
C for Cal.
I don't think, you know, I know Judge is the captain over in New York. You know, there might be one or two other ones in the league, but, you know, I'm not, you know, my goal is I'm not striving for that thing on my chest. You know, I want people to recognize me for who I am as far as a leader, and, you know, obviously, you know, getting even in that category of being considered captain or anything is awesome and amazing honor. But, you know, I'm here to win games, and I want guys to know that, and I think they know that. And, you know, we have a bunch of great leaders in the clubhouse. You know, you look at guys like JP, Mitch, and you're seeing other guys kind of come up and become leaders. You know, look at like a Logan, where he was a few years ago and where he is now, and it's kind of weird to see.
Can
obviously,
everyone make fun of a leader? Is that fair?
yeah, you can make fun of him.
Okay,
he
good.
can, as long as he started to dish it back a little bit. So
Oh.
yeah.
Wow.
Is he the nicest guy on the team? Like, just pure nice scale?
I don't know.
seems so
He's right.
nice.
Yeah, he's probably right up there. I mean, you're not around him like I am sometimes. So, he, like I said, he's starting to learn to give it back a little bit.
Yeah,
So
you get to Walter. You
that's
didn't
a good
mention
thing.
Julio there, and I know not, you know, it's his stardom and his talent and everything else, but he talked about wanting to be more of a leader. He talked about when he met the press last year wasn't good enough. You feeling some new vibes from Julio in that regard?
Yeah, like I said, it's not like we need the one guy to be the rah-rah guy, or we need the one guy to show us all the way. You know, we have a good collective group, and we need guys that do their job. You know, you hear, I believe it's Bill Belichick, it's kind of his like mantra over there in New England for the longest time was do your job. Yep. And, you know, that's kind of how it is in baseball, because, you know, you're only strong as your weakest link. And, you know, that sometimes the game's not always going to be, the ball's not going to be in Julio's hands. It's not going to be in JP's hands. So we need to collectively as a group do our job a lot better as far as taking care of our own house, and then, you know, let the rest take care of itself, because, you know, like I said, it's a different sport than any other.
You mentioned, we're talking to Cal Raleigh, by the way. You mentioned Mitch Haniger, and he is back, and we had a chance to sit down with him earlier this week. Man, does he seem like he's in a really good spot, at least from our standpoint. What has it meant to this clubhouse and to the guys who were here before to have him back?
It's amazing. You know, I love Mitch. I loved getting to come up and kind of learn from him and talk to him, obviously now, and getting him back here is great. And, you know, he's a great guy, you know, to talk hitting to talk game planning with. I think I mentioned that before. he's super smart. He sees things that other guys don't see. He'll help you in that area. Talk, like I said, game planning, and he's also a great leader by example. He comes every day, ready to play. He does his stuff in the weight room. He does his stuff in the training room. It's not like he's just showing up, putting on a show, and then going home. And he's a great example for even young guys coming up, and guys like I said, like myself, like, okay, this is how you do things. You do things the right way. You work hard. You keep your head down. You go to work every single day, and he does a great job of that.
The voice that is Cal Raleigh, I have said to this guy next to me, Cal, for a lot of years now, I get so tired of hearing this guy's so competitive. We're getting around the draft, and all these agents work with their prospects at the Oh, football, it's the most important thing in my life. I'm just so competitive. I'm the most competitive dude you ever got. I'm just so competitive. Honestly, I get so tired of it because when I hear you talk, the word is not competitive. The word is discipline. The word is like, hey, don't tell me how much you want it. Don't talk about how competitive you are. Do you have the discipline every day to come in here and do your job and to do it again and again and again and again? I said to Salk and to Scott yesterday, this feels like a workman-like group.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard it, and we can sit here and we can talk about how focused this group is or how ready we are to come back and kind of make the story of a season. But it doesn't matter what we say. It matters what happens on, was it March 28th or whatever opening day is.
You don't know the day?
I don't know the day.
You said you count down the day.
I mean, I don't know the actual day.
He doesn't have like an advent calendar.
I know when I need to be ready, and it's somewhere around there. So I don't know the actual day. I don't know where am I getting my next meal? So I'm just literally worried by 1 second at a time.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we can sit here and say all these things, but if we go out in the field and we don't perform, then it doesn't mean anything. And we have to show up every day, disciplined, ready to go, and like somebody's taking something from us.
Yeah, you talked about performance, and at the end of the year, and that story is many, many months ago, and we talked in the off season and all of that stuff. But there was a conversation. We got to be better. Like we got to be better. We got to produce better. You now see a Jorge Polanco. You now have a Mitch Haniger. You now have a Mitch Garver. There are a lot. What did you say, Salk?
I think it's going to be from opening day last year to opening day this year. It should be about 50% new guys.
That weren't in camp. Now, they came mid-season in the Woos and the Millers, but as far as like
guys who are on the opening day 26-man roster last year versus this year, I think it's going to be 13 new ones. Somewhere between 12 and 14. That's a lot.
That is a lot. It's a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a lot of new people to get acclimated. But we knew we had to make a change, and credit to the front office and our coaching staff as well as recognizing that and going out and doing those things. And not only on the player side, obviously we got some great players, made some new additions, some people with new skill sets, new things that they can do well, kind of help us out. But adding a Brant Brown to our staff to help us, and maybe that's something that we needed, and I truly do so far with him, and I feel like everybody in that clubhouse believes in Brant Brown, and as far as the things that he's bringing to the table, the things he's talking about, it's firing us up, and it's kind of an exciting new kind of thing that's come up, and people are it's like a fresh new start, and you're like, oh, I kind of like this. I like these new things that we're talking about.
So that kind of takes me in two directions. One, as you sit here now, and to put a bow on that conversation, and we'll bring it up again, do you feel like you were listened to? Do you feel like the organization went out, heard you, and made an attempt to make this team better?
Yeah, I mean, first things first, like I said, I told you guys before, there was never an agenda. It was strictly coming from a place in my heart of, I want to win. You talk to JP, you talk to Ty, you talk to Logan. It's the same thing. All we want to do is win. And obviously get better players, you win. I mean, that's just the case. And, but yes, I feel like things, as far as the communication has gotten a lot better. The other things, as far as we went out and we made some adjustments, like I said, to our obviously players and then obviously our coaches. And, I think that's going to show up in a great way. And I think not only the new guys, but I think the old guys that are the guys that have been here as well had to make some adjustments. I know I've made some adjustments this off season. I know JP has been working at Driveline for the past few years now, and he's made adjustments as well this off season. And I think it's going to be great for everybody.
So then we focused, because we're idiots in the media, and we all focused on the personnel, the players. When I hear you talk now and you bring up Brant Brown, and Shannon was right on this from the beginning, of course, because she's as clued in as anybody. Seriously, she is. And she was right on this from the very beginning. it's not just about the personnel. She kept saying it's about some of the strategy. It's about the what Brant Brown is doing, the offensive coordinating. How important was that or is that to what you guys are hoping to accomplish this year?
I think it's going to be huge. Even if it helps us win one more game, you see where that could have got us last year, right? I mean, I think it's going to be huge for us. And, personally, guys are tired of hearing, our pitching staff is so great. They're carrying us, and by all means, they are, and they are great. And they did carry us the past 2-3 years. But, we want to start pulling our, into the bargain. We want to start helping them out, make some games easier for them. Maybe take a few less innings off a guy that could maybe keep him a little more fresher, later in the season. Maybe not have that pressure, come August or September of like, all right, every game is do or die. We need to win this game. We want to, build that kind of process early on to where, all right, we're winning games early. We're winning games in the middle of the season. Now we don't feel like we have that huge weight bearing on our shoulders at the end of the season, or feel like that we need to lean on a certain guy or certain group as far as the pitchers. We want to be able to pull our own weight. So,
last thing for me, Cal, and this is maybe a little tougher because, as you said, you're not catching every bullpen. You're not on the backfields like you were in 19 and 20. But if last year we really didn't know Wu or Miller, I mean, maybe you guys did, and their names were at least mentioned a little bit, but then, man, did they ever come on 100-plus innings and everything they did. Is there a guy or two that you're kind of watching? A young pitcher or maybe a young arm or maybe even a young positional player? You're like, hey, man, keep an eye on these dudes.
Yeah, there's been a few guys on the backfields. You see, Vargas is a big name that's come up a lot. With a very funky arm action, who's throwing extremely hard with some nasty stuff. I know we got him in the trade as well, and there's a few other bullpen arms that are kind of popping up. Even you look at a guy like Emerson Hancock, who's came in, he's touching 97, 98, and spring training, and look at last year when he came up to the big leagues, he was throwing 91. That's a pretty big jump. Yep. So if that's your swingman type 6 guy, then things are looking pretty good. So, there's a lot of guys in camp that I've seen so far, and you obviously see some more guys come up, and I'm sure you guys will be talking about it more than we will.
All right, I want to hear a little bit about these pitchers. I got a little rapid-fire questions for you on the pitching staff. First of all, if they're all cheeses, you're not really a pitcher, but you're sort of like an honorary. Or do you get a cheese or a sandwich or a deli meat? Like, do you have a name in it?
Yeah, I don't have a cheese name, but good. I love grilled cheese sandwiches, so I guess I'd be grilled cheese.
All right, grilled cheese. I like that. Which pitcher dresses best?
Personally, I like the boots look, so I like Bryce's look that he's got going. As far as consistently outfits go, I'd say, obviously Luis is up there. I'd say George has got a pretty good wardrobe as well.
Oh, really?
So they all dress pretty well.
They do, yeah.
Right.
Except Logan.
Except Logan. So who dresses worse?
Logan is definitely the worst. Yeah. He wears the same shoes every day. So,
which pitcher hurts your hand the most?
Starter or reliever?
Both. One of each.
I'd probably say it's a mixture between Brash and Munoz.
And is that because of just the velocity, or is it the movement as well?
Yeah. Both.
Starter?
Yeah. Well, Brash is the one that made my thumb go in 22.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that.
But it's just sometimes, their stuff's moving so much. Sometimes they'll move a little differently day in and day out. So it's a little not as consistent as far as, shapes-wise. Okay. So that'll make it a little tougher. And plus, it's coming in at 90 plus. So Starter, probably Logan. Just because of how heavy his ball is and, how hard and how late it is. It's hard to time up sometimes because of how late it breaks. Which
is the best pitcher at handling the running game? Making your job easier, throwing guys out?
I would say Bryce Miller. But his is kind of in the sense of he came up through the minor leagues at a time where they were, they came up with a pitch clock. So he kind of learned how to use the pitch clock to his advantage. And you see a lot of hitters come up. You saw last year, Jose Caballero came up, and he was causing all sorts of problems by not looking up until the 9 or 8 second mark. Bryce is kind of the same way in the sense of a pitcher of he might hold the ball for 10 seconds, and it's not against the rules, but he's holding the ball and he's holding runners and he's messing hitters' timing up and making them uncomfortable or coming set and then come to the plate really quickly. So it actually works out as far as holding runners. He's pretty good at it. So.
Which pitcher would you least want to introduce to your parents?
I mean, Logan's already met my parents, so.
How'd that go?
It was good.
Okay, good. All right.
Except for my dad joked after the fact. He's like, how much did you get paid like signing? But this was in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
He's like, I got like 800 or something. Logan got like 3 million, and he's like, well, why did I pay for lunch? I was like, I don't know. That's a great point, but I appreciate it.
All right, so who would you least invite back to? You'd be nervous for them to meet your parents.
Bryce, he's a little more of a wild card,
Yeah.
probably. So he's you don't know what's going to come out of that mouth sometimes.
I like that. Dude.
Who shakes you off the least?
The least, George, for sure.
How about the most?
Logan.
Really?
Yeah, George.
We
and-
sat down with Logan the other day. He says, I hate shaking the guys off.
Don't
all
listen
I want
to that.
He said,
That's
all I
just
want to
fake-
do is
that's-
just throw.
That's fake news.
Really?
Yeah, he's he is very particular sometimes about what he wants to throw and when he wants to throw it. And he I'd say Luis and George are probably the least. They just get it and rip. Then Logan's a little more cerebral sometimes and is a little
thinker.
more. Yeah, you know, it is, but it's what makes him good.
Who's
so.
the best hitter out of that group?
I think
Bryce.
No, Woo.
Really?
Brian, yeah, because he came to college as a two-way. So,
Oh.
and I've seen his golf swing. It's really good.
It
so,
is.
it's
Yeah,
really good.
Last thing before we let you go, did you hear what happened with Maury yesterday?
No, what happened?
Now, we brought her out to Boulders, which is really nice.
You ever
course.
golf at Boulders?
No, I was telling him
should.
yesterday. I was like, I want to go.
You should go.
Unbelievably
Play the South
hard.
course.
It's
not,
hard.
Not an easy.
It's
Target golf?
Oh, yeah.
all target
Desert everywhere.
It's not good for my game.
It's so
Yeah, it
hard.
wasn't good for anybody's game.
No.
Maura was shocked at how much time was spent, looking for balls in the desert. But she killed a rabbit. She hit a
did.
rabbit
You
with
did.
a ball. She
Stop
hit a
lying.
little hosel rocket.
Oh, my.
And the poor
Yeah.
rabbit, you could actually hear it scream in
my
pain,
God.
Yeah.
and then it just rolled right over.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that happen?
Cal.
Was
She,
it a-
Cal,
did you have to put it down?
Oh, yeah, the rabbit did hop away.
It was fine.
but we were worried
It
that
did
we were
not hop
golfing
away.
with a psycho killer animal.
A little
over here.
wounded?
Yeah.
Totally wounded.
Oh,
Ball a little bloody.
I couldn't have made you feel very good.
No.
I hope you got rid of the ball. So.
It had blood all over it. So couldn't keep hitting it.
Yes.
Cal, thank you. We appreciate it.
For
Thanks
sure.
for coming by, man. This
The
is
best.
one of our favorite annual traditions, is getting to sit down with you, and hopefully we'll chat throughout the year. Continue good luck.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you,
All right,
Cal.
there you go. There's
Appreciate you.
Cal Raleigh.